glad to have you back. You're watching TVC News Hour. South Sudan marked its 6th independence anniversary on Sunday with no official celebration.
This is as the world's newest nation reels from a brutal and destructive ongoing civil war. On July the 9th, 2011, dignitaries from around the world joined crowds of South Sudanese to celebrate the country's independence from Sudan to the north after decades of civil war. But 2 years later, in December 2013, a new conflict arose when President Salva Kiir accuses former Deputy Riek Machar of plotting a coup. The war since then has been characterized by ethnic fighting, sexual violence and extreme brutality, with civilians the primary victims. A political analyst based in Canada, Ger Gurang, joins us now via Skype to discuss this. Hello, Ger.
Hello.
Hello, it's been a while. Good to see you.
Good to be here again.
Indeed. Do you think South Sudanese have a reason to celebrate this independence?
There's hardly no reason for the people to celebrate because there's increased suffering. Over 3 million people have been displaced. There's always constant attacking of people on the roads, and the economy is in tatters. Inflation is nearly 1,000%. So there's hardly anything to celebrate now as people are suffering.
Now, for you as a South Sudanese, how disappointing is it that a lot more funds have been expended on the search for peace, outside the shores of South Sudan, where the people are actually suffering?
It's really very disappointing because if you remember in 2011, people were really excited. They were excited not that they didn't know there would be challenges. They were excited because they thought that the leaders would learn from the problems that we experienced from 2005 when the CPA was signed and the government in Juba was instituted as an autonomous government. So people knew there were problems. They were just hoping that the leaders would change things and show us the way that things will improve. But things went down from there. And what is really, really frustrating is that the leaders seem not to actually see that everything is going down. They still think that there's an improvement they are making when there's basically nothing. So it just makes one wonder whether Juba is still part of South Sudan or it's a completely different country. And that's what is really disappointing because people feel like they are not being heard or the suffering is not being seen.
All right. Just recently, the President Salva Kiir, at an occasion, gave a speech and said the root cause of the problem is greed. We don't know who is referring to, but is there a case of a cattle calling pot black, really?
Well, this is one of the things the President has been doing since 2005. He talks as if he's not the President. He talks about corruption, he talks about tribalism, and he's the leader of the country. So he's the one who's supposed to show the way, put down modalities where this greed can end. So when he talks about greed, and he's not even being specific so that other people can take it up or the leaders can say, this is the problem we have, this is how we can solve it. He puts things out as if he's not the President. And that's one of the problems where he talks about, a few years ago, he talked about $4 billion that was stolen by officials. And he did not say how he arrived at that figure. He just throws it out. And that is what is really bad because modalities are not put in place so that officials can follow those modalities so that things can change.
Talking about change, what option is left for the people of South Sudan now back home to get back their dignity and sovereignty and indeed to enjoy the resources of the country?
What is needed? South Sudanese people are very industrious. These are people who can farm. We are actually blessed with a very fertile land, so people can farm. They can go back to their houses. The problem is insecurity. So the leaders in Juba would say things are improving, but things are not improving. So what they need to do is to stop the war. Now, the President in December said there was something he called the national dialogue. People cannot dialogue if there's war. The war has to be ended first, guns should be silent, and then now we can talk about dialoguing so that we can see how we can coexist as different tribes. We have over 60 tribes in South Sudan. So how can we coexist when we've been hurt? Tribes are now being turned against one another. So what has to be done is for the war to end, and then we can dialogue. You cannot go to someone who is holding a gun and say, okay, put your gun down. That's what the president said during his speech on July 9th, that he's declaring unilateral ceasefire and cessation of hostilities and also amnesty. You cannot just say, I'm declaring amnesty when these people have grievances that are not addressed. So end the war, and then we talk about grievances. That's the only way South Sudanese can have a way in which it can go back to normalcy.
All right, we'll leave it there. Many thanks for your time and thought on TVC News Hour. Gengarang, a political analyst who joined us from Canada.